Hi, I'm Novel Mike, and this is my opinion. Just quick warning, this is a spoiler talk for Trails of Cold Steel. So I will be talking about the main events and essentially the ending of the game. So if you do not want to be spoiled and you have any intention of ever playing this game, do not watch this video. Just go play the game. After you beat it, come back, watch it, and we'll just in general talk about that stuff. Last call. If you don't want to know spoilers, do not watch this video. I'm going to spoil everything. So there you go. Okay, so the final epilogue chapter of this game is just amazing. And normally when you think of an epilogue for a game, it's probably like 30 minutes to an hour at most. Some stuff is probably going to be wrapped up, and then you're probably going to have some kind of tease for a sequel, if anything. This game goes just balls to the wall with detail. You have the Academy Festival, which is a ton of fan service. You have these really cool bonding events with some of your characters that you've gotten to know, and the special scene at the very end of the festival. And then you also have the old schoolhouse where Reen and Co. Just eventually go into the schoolhouse. They go in this mysterious little door that takes them into this, completely different world, and they go through this really cool last dungeon. It's very well designed. It's very nice looking compared to just the same kind of layout of the previous schoolhouse levels. And then at the very end of it, they come across this giant shadow creature called Loa Ambronia, or Arabonia, something like that, I can't remember. And they defeat that, and then they go through the door, and then there's a giant mech there. And that's pretty awesome in itself. So all this leads up to essentially the end of the Academy Festival. The kids throw this concert that could be better. The concert's probably one of the lowest points of this epilogue, because there's supposed to be 3 songs that the kids perform, but only one of them is actually voiced at all. And I get that, these games don't have a ton of development money put into them, but if they ever remake this game, I really hope they actually add in the other 2 songs, because one of them's supposed to be a duet between Machias and Eustace. I keep calling him Julius. Eustace, and that would just be hilarious in so many ways, especially if they actually managed to dub it, because that would be fantastic. But anyway, after that, when School Festival ends, all the adults essentially that are there and are essentially called away, and something clearly has gone wrong, and the kids find out this fortress that you went to earlier in the game, Grelia Fortress, has been destroyed. And that has a huge tone shift, because at this point everything has changed, because essentially with that fortress destroyed and seeming to be done by the city-state Crossbell, which has recently declared its independence, it seems that they're responsible for it, and because of that, we're in trouble, because that means that most likely we're going to war with Crossbell. So the Chancellor, Osborne, is going to make the speech at noon, and Class 7 gathers around to watch it, and essentially a whole bunch of crazy stuff happens. I'm just going to list this off real quick. Chancellor Osborne declares war on Crossbell. He gets shot by the leader of the Imperial Liberation Front, Comrade C, who is actually secretly Crow, who is a party member of yours that you've had for the last couple chapters, and has been a minor character before that you've interacted with several times over the course of the game. Then you see that the Noble Alliance, the nobles and essentially their armies, have created giant robots to fight with, and they invade the capital and they take it over. And then they're also coming towards Trista, the town that you're in with the academy and everything. So the teachers go out to fight. Reen and his class, they decide they're going to fight too. You get to see pretty much everyone around the school to prepare to defend the school. They evacuate Trista, and you're getting ready to go fight. You get to go see this awesome scene with the teachers just taking out these mechs and everything. It's really cool. And then Sharon shows up. She's this maid from the Reinford family, and Alyssa's maid, essentially, and she joins in, and you find out she's part of Ouroboros, this secret society, but she's on leave, quote-unquote, from that, and she helps them, and they all fight together, and they seem to be winning, and then you hear the kids realize that the east side of the town is about to be attacked too, so they go to stop anyone from invading from that side, and they take out a mech, which is really cool. And then this other mech that they fight just destroys them, because it has this armor that reflects all damage, so they can't hurt it at all. So that's when the giant mech Reen and everyone saw in the old schoolhouse talks to Reen, tells him, hey, call upon my name, I'll come to you. He calls out his name, Valimar, the Ashen Knight. Valimar comes out from the schoolhouse and just flies all the way to Reen, and then Reen has a giant robot battle with the other mech that's left. Out of nowhere. It's such a cool scene because you're just like, holy crap, you actually get a pilot that in this game? That's awesome! I thought we were at the very end and like there was going to be a weird cliffhanger, but no, you actually get a fight in the robot. So you defeat the first person, the command unit that's there, and then Crow shows up in his own Divine Knight. The Ashen Knight is Reen's, the Azure Knight is Crow's. So there's this big dialogue speech between Reen and Crow. Reen wants Crow to come back with them if he wins, and Crow's just like, well, I'm going to take over Trista if I win, and there's nothing you can really do to stop me. They fight. Reen wins the first round, but then Crow activates some kind of super mode on his mech and just handily defeats him and is about to finish him off. Your classmates step in, and they're going to fight Crow for you while you escape because they know that your Divine Knight means that, essentially, that stop the Noble Alliance. If that's lost, then they're screwed. So, Valimar flies away with Reen and this talking cat Celine inside, and there's a talking cat named Celine, and which Reen just found out can talk. And so they fly away after a tearful goodbye between Reen and whoever you have the highest bonding events with, and essentially that's when the credits roll. And it's such a huge thing because you have all these characters, and there's little, like, I'm not even going over the little moments with all these characters, with the different things that happen in between, what's going on with the main characters and some of these side characters. Emma has this really weird reaction to hearing Vita/Misty talk on the radio, and, she sort of knows who she is, or she does know who she is, and she's not sure she should reveal things. You find out, all this crazy stuff happens at once. I didn't even go over the fact that this Misty/Vita person is part of Ouroboros, and Ouroboros is like the people pulling the strings behind everyone, it seems, and the Noble Alliance is basically just being used by them, and all this crazy stuff happens at once, and it's such a good way to end the game because it's not just that, it ends on a cliffhanger. It does suck that it ends on a cliffhanger, but you get so much payoff before that, it doesn't really bother you as much, besides the fact that you have to wait for the second game, because so many cool things happen at the very end of this game, and so many characters get time to shine, especially the teachers. Like, I would have never expected the teachers to just be this awesome, especially, this, the principal and the nurse, who, both of which are, elderly, and they're just kicking all kinds of ass, and it's a really cool scene, and it's just a good way to wrap everything up, and at the same time set up the next game. So whatever happens in the next game, essentially, that you're starting probably off with Reen, probably with Valimar and Celine, and he's got to try to, essentially, the game. It seems like the game would have been about the war with Crossbell or the Republic, and instead is going to be about a civil war with Reen trying to, I guess, stop the Noble faction, but, we'll see when the game comes out in just about a week from now, which is awesome. So, anyway, it's one of my favorite games for many reasons, but I think the best thing about it, honestly, is that there is an actual payoff to all this crazy stuff that happens throughout the course of the game that just isn't developed well. There's a few things that are still left really open, which I'm sure will be touched upon in Cold Steel 2, such as Emma in general, but it is really cool to see that they essentially have all these elements that do tie in together at the very end, and you see all this character development come to the forefront, and all these characters get not just time to shine, but get time to have comedic moments and serious moments, and it's just a great presentation on how to really end your game and give it a good send-off and set up the sequel as well without it just being a stupid cliffhanger at the end. Because they could have just done a cliffhanger and not done everything else in this epilogue, and I still would have wanted to play the second game, but since they gave you so much payoff for it, I was just enthralled and I couldn't wait to play it, and I finished it back at the end of last year, and God, it was painful waiting. But anyway, that's all I have to say on the matter. The game is fantastic. I'm so glad I played it. I'm so glad I picked it up, and I cannot wait for its sequel. and Trails of Cold Steel 3, which eventually is going to come out, supposedly. And I hope we also eventually get the Crossbell games as well. I really need to find the time to play Trails in the Sky first and second chapter as well, because third chapter comes out next year for sure. So, anyway, I'm Novel Mike. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And next week I will probably be doing something a little bit different, but I still want to do something for the launch of Trails of Cold Steel 2. So I've got an idea that I hope you might like. Anyway, thank you everyone. Bye-bye.